You have to go back to the 1990s for Honda's last glory days. And it was producing spellbinding drivers' cars like the NSX, Integra and S2000. The Japanese brand has since been hugging trees with mild hybrids and hydrogen cars, or eyeballing sales with more SUVs like the HR-V. Yet after introducing our second generation NSX supercar in late 2016, I'm now sitting in an uncivilised looking Civic, and that can only mean one thing. Yep, the Type R badge that once denoted stratospheric revving performance is back in Australia after a 5-year sabbatical. Time to find out if Honda's sporty mojo has finally returned. It's no shrinking violet, is it? The Honda Civic Type R looks like it's just jumped out of the pages of a manga comic. It's longer, wider and lower than any previous Civic Type R. There's a scoop in the aluminium bonnet to help engine cooling. Aggressively flared guards are filled with 20-inch wheels wrapped in licorice-thin Continental tyres that have been customised specifically for the car. Stopping power is boosted by large Brembo brakes up front. On the roof are vortex generators, which sound like they might create a tornado behind the car, but are designed to guide air over the slim design rear wing to generate genuine downforce. And there's a distinctive triple pipe exhaust design, with a central tailpipe that Honda says is key to enhancing the exhaust note and minimising cabin boom. Visual intent isn't necessarily anything new for a Type R, but a turbocharged engine under the bonnet is. So let's find out if the likes of the Volkswagen Golf R or Ford Focus RS have anything to worry about. The engine's character change is immediately obvious and kind of expected, considering the new 2-litre has double the torque of the old Type R's normally aspirated unit. It's not brilliantly tractable off idle, but it's so much easier to keep this engine on the boil, and you can short shift to your heart's content. Second, fourth, fifth, hell, let's even go sixth. And at about 80 kilometres an hour, the engine's still pulling quite strongly. But the question is, does the Type R's newfound mid-range muscularity and flexibility rob us of the old VTEC valve train goodness up top? All right, let's find out. Second gear, let's go. The acceleration is quite violent. Now, the new Type R isn't the 8,000 RPM screamer that it was before, but there's still lots of frenetic activity in the upper reaches of the rev range. This is a turbo engine that really encourages you to wind it out. Fantastic. Now, the Type R comes with a 6-speed manual only. Honda says this is a driver's car after all, and good on them for that. And you could say an automatic gearbox wouldn't really be in keeping with a car that looks like this Civic Type R. And if the 6-speeder is not quite as slick as the Integra and S2000, it still has a lovely mechanical feel to it and a nice short throw action. Honda has followed Nissan with a rev matching function, so you don't have to heel and toe, which is going to be kind of controversial for some. But it is actually quite subtle in its operation, and if it really does offend, well, you can just switch it off by using the infotainment display. The all-wheel drive Focus RS isn't going to be troubled by the Type R standing start acceleration, but the Honda's in-gear performance is much more competitive. The Honda hot hatch has also proved it's blooming quick by establishing a record for front-wheel drive production cars around Germany's famous Nürburgring. Honda's test driver would no doubt have had the car's dampers, steering and drivetrain set to the most aggressive R+ setting, but the mid-mode Sport is best for proper roads. The dampers could be a little more assertive in the way they lock down the Type R, but there's just enough compliance to maintain driver confidence. And that's crucial because this is a Honda that really encourages you to wring its neck. And the steering is excellent. It's hefty, it's direct, just over 2-point turns lock to lock. That's about the same as the Focus RS is. But where the Ford's is quite darty, the Type R's is a bit more measured on initial turning, and personally I prefer that. Superb chassis response. This car loves quick direction changes. Flick right, flick left, right again. Fantastic. But even in higher speed, constant radius corners, there's a terrific stability to the Type R, aided by a relatively long wheelbase, wide tracks, and of course grippy rubber. Tenacity of the Type R's front end grip very much reminds me of the last generation front wheel drive Focus RS. The front axle's limited slip diff is impressive in how it helps you get the Honda's potent 228 kilowatts to the ground, with surprisingly minimal torque steer. The brakes are excellent too. Maybe a little bit sensitive for when you're driving around town, but when you're on it, the firm feel and immediacy of their bite is really confidence inspiring and bodes well for a track. To cap everything off, the driving position is excellent. Nice and low set, lower in fact than the Focus RS's, which is just a bit too high. And the bucket style seats are grippy without being intrusive. We hope you like red though, as the Honda brand colour is plastered all over the Type R's cabin. Seat belts, dash, doors, seats, steering wheel, you name it. The interior design has an edginess that matches the exterior, while interior quality and presentation is comparable to a Focus RS, if not a Golf R. There's plenty of hard plastics, and our test car's dash did have some buzzes and rattles. But the Type R features all the practicality and generous space of a regular Civic. The big wing doesn't impede rear vision, and stick the settings into comfort mode and the steering becomes more effortless and the stiff suspension becomes more forgiving. Yes, the Civic Type R looks a bit mad, but it's no longer as maddening to live with, and without sacrificing performance or handling. Forget the NSX supercar that is admirable but unattainable for us normal folk. It's this $51,000 hot hatch that more emphatically announces that the exciting and innovating Honda brand we all used to love is well and truly back.